A thrilling dive into Cenote El Aerolito was meant to be an exciting escapade for two friends. But when a routine exploration turned into a nightmare, they found themselves battling for survival in the depths of the cave. With Aerolito Cave now completely obscured by silt, Donald recognized the perilous situation. Taking precautionary steps, he moved backward to avoid entanglement and regain visibility. Within arm's reach of the main line, Donald watched helplessly as Alex continued to struggle. Understanding the unspoken rule of cave diving, prioritize self-preservation in panicked situations, Donald focused on his own safety. He held on to the main line, assessing his exit route. With a clear path to the cave's exit in sight, Donald knew he could swim there safely and ensure his survival. Facing the grim reality that Alex was likely facing death in the silted-out section, Donald hesitated between his own safety and risking it all to save his friend. This is the chilling account of Donald Cowboy Cerrone and his friend's harrowing ordeal in Aerolito Cave. El Aerolito is reported to be over 233 feet deep, and its mix of salt and fresh water supports a diverse range of marine life, including rare species like sea stars. Within its depths lies the courageous journey of Donald Cowboy Cerrone. At 20, Donald began kickboxing, and later, Muay Thai, discovering his talent. He won several kickboxing matches, then switched to MMA, earning the nickname Cowboy for his love of cowboy hats. Winning his first 9 fights, he quickly climbed the ranks in the WEC. Then he signed with the UFC. In the UFC, Donald became a superstar, drawing huge crowds and becoming one of the promotion's most successful fighters ever. Apart from his UFC career, Donald is an adrenaline junkie, like many in the fighting community. Outside of training and fighting, he dives into various high-octane activities like dirt biking, off-road racing, water skiing, and even bull riding. His passion for scuba diving began in high school when he got certified, and he's been hooked ever since. Shipwreck diving is a particular favorite, but nothing beats the thrill of cave diving for him. In August of 2018, Donald Cerrone and his friend Alex were in Cozumel, Mexico, enjoying some diving adventures. After exploring shipwrecks and coral reefs for the first few days with friends, they planned a more serious dive, just for the two of them, at Aerolito Cave. On August 17th, before leaving to meet Alex for their cave dive, Donald kissed his wife and his newborn baby goodbye. His wife had expressed discomfort about him diving with Alex, concerned about Alex's declining diving abilities due to age. Despite reassurances from Donald, who saw Alex as a mentor, his wife remained worried about Alex's physical capabilities. However, Donald assured her that everything would be okay, and promised to return home safely after the dive, as he always did. Despite Donald's reassurances, his wife's worry lingered. To ease her concerns, Donald had ordered an extra cylinder of air, adding to the 2 he had originally planned for the dive, making it a total of 3 cylinders. In cave diving, they would follow the standard practice of diving in thirds, using 1/3 of their air to go in, another third to come out, and keeping the final third in reserve for emergencies. Additionally, cave divers typically lay long guidelines throughout the cave to assist in navigation, especially in caves that have been newly discovered and mapped. Cave diving poses significant challenges due to the massive, winding, and low visibility corridors, making it easy to get lost without proper navigation. To mitigate this risk, cave divers use guidelines, long ropes laid throughout the cave system. These guidelines are marked with directional signals called cookies, which are clear and point towards the cave exit. Improper use or making of these guidelines by divers can lead to fatal accidents, making it one of the leading causes of death in cave diving. There are 2 types of guidelines: fixed or main lines, which are permanently installed in the cave system, reducing the need for divers to lay extensive lines during each dive. Main lines in cave diving are strategically placed to discourage recreational divers from entering without proper training or equipment. They may start at either the cave entrance or slightly inside. Moreover, main lines are not always interconnected, necessitating divers to carry reels to connect them using jump lines. Jump lines are attached by divers as they navigate through the cave, linking one main line to another. These jump lines are removed upon exiting the cave to streamline the system. Donald and Alex began their dive into Aerolito Cave from the inconspicuous pond on the surface. As they explored the vast cave system, Alex needed to transition from one guideline to another. However, during the switch, his buoyancy device came loose and shot upward, causing him to spin around. In the chaos, the guideline wrapped around him, trapping him. Donald rushed to help, but Alex panicked, thrashing violently and stirring up silt from the cave floor. Silt, a mix of dust and sediment, reduces visibility to nearly zero in confined spaces of the cave, creating an opaque mist-like environment where it's difficult to even see a hand in front of your face. Despite the inherent danger, Donald made a desperate decision to venture into the silt to rescue Alex. However, as soon as he entered the opaque cloud, he lost all sense of direction, engulfed in disorientation and panic. Gasping for air in frantic desperation, he collided with the cave ceiling, momentarily jolting him into a moment of clarity. With eyes shut tight, he forced himself to slow his breathing, struggling to regain control amidst the chaos of his panic-stricken mind. In the darkness and dense silt, Donald relied on his glowing watches to gauge his depth and time, and checked his pressure gauges to assess his air supply. Realizing he still had a full spare cylinder, he closed his eyes, focused on calming his racing thoughts. With a clearer mind, he began feeling around the silt, searching for Alex, but to no avail. Determined, he traced his hands along the cave wall, hoping to orient himself. Unlike familiar caves, where divers mentally note landmarks for navigation, this unexplored channel offered no such familiarity. Despite the challenges, Donald persisted, striving to find a way out of the labyrinth darkness. Desperate for a way out, Donald consulted his compass, recalling the exit direction he had measured earlier. However, navigating in the winding tunnels of a cave was unpredictable. Heading in the right direction didn't guarantee the exit. Despite the uncertainty, he swam in the indicated direction, only to encounter solid walls. Frustration and panic surged anew as he thrashed and struggled, until suddenly, he emerged from the silt and stumbled upon the main line. Grasping it for stability, he tried to compose himself, but a new obstacle emerged. He found himself on the wrong side of the silted section of the main line. Behind him, deeper into the cave, lay a clear path, free from silt and obstruction. Facing the daunting task of navigating through the silted-out cave towards the distant exit, Donald remembered the cave maps he had studied. Aware of a split in the cave ahead, one path leading to the exit, and the other deeper into the cave, he plunged back into the silt, feeling his way forward. Encountering a hole, he continued, hoping it was the right path. However, upon feeling a familiar sensation, he realized he was swimming against the current, contrary to their entry. Recognizing this as a sign of heading in the wrong direction, Donald halted, reassessing his options in the murky darkness of the cave. Overwhelmed by panic and struggling to control his breathing, Donald found himself once again consumed by fear and uncertainty in the darkness of the cave. Recalling his promise to his wife and baby, he plunged back into the silt, only to succumb to panic once more. Amidst the chaos, the realization that his heavy breathing was depleting his air supply added to his growing dread. Checking his watch and gauges, he estimated about an hour of air remaining. But the looming fear of drowning weighed heavily on his mind. Determined to avoid this fate, he filled his buoyancy device with his breath, using it to propel himself upward until he found himself resting upside down against the cave ceiling, seeking solace in this brief respite from the suffocating darkness below. As Donald grappled with the grim reality of his predicament, thoughts of his family and the fear of drowning weighed heavily on his mind. Contemplating writing a farewell letter, he wrestled with the idea of surrendering to despair. However, a surge of determination coursed through him as he refused to give in to the hopelessness. Recalling his identity as a fighter, he resolved to keep fighting, refusing to accept defeat. Crawling along the cave ceiling, he remembered a large crack that traversed its length. With frantic determination, he followed the crack until it widened, revealing a glimmer of light in the distance. With renewed hope, Donald pressed forward, driven by the fighter spirit within him, refusing to let darkness claim him. With the green glow of light beckoning him, Donald swam frantically towards the opening, still engulfed in panic and hyperventilating. His tanks momentarily caught, causing a frantic struggle, but with determination, he persevered, following the crack until his tanks finally passed through. And then, there it was, the opening of the cave. He had made it. The overwhelming relief washed over him as he realized he was going home to his wife and child. Emerging from the water, Donald saw Alex sitting nearby. It turned out that Alex had managed to grab the main line in his panic and followed it out of the cave. Looking at each other, they shared a silent understanding that their diving partnership had come to an end. Donald wasted no time in reaching out to his wife, sending a reassuring text message that despite a terrifying ordeal, he was safe and on his way home. With a newfound appreciation for life and a renewed sense of gratitude, Donald began the journey back to his loved ones, cherishing the second chance that he had been given. According to Donald, this incident continues to haunt him in his nightmares. Unlike other close calls in his life, this ordeal was a prolonged, tormenting struggle, where he was acutely aware of the passing time. While thoughts of death loomed over him, deep within, the resilient spirit of the cowboy remained as vibrant as ever. Thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Tales of Tragedy, for more videos about caving just like this. And until next time, take care.